Richard J. Potash, known professionally as Ricky J., is an American stage magician, actor, and writer. In a profile for The New Yorker, Mark Singer called J. perhaps the most gifted sleight-of-hand artist alive. J is best known for performing sleight-of-hand, card tricks, card throwing, memory feats, and stage patter. He has also written extensively on magic and its history. He has acted in the films The Spanish Prisoner, Heist, Boogie Nights, and Magnolia, and in the HBO series Deadwood. Early life. J prefers not to discuss the details of his childhood. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, on an unspecified date, probably in 1948, to a middle-class Jewish family, and grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He has never spoken publicly about his parents, with the exception of a single anecdote. "My father oiled his hair with Brial cream and brushed his teeth with Colgate," he recalled. He kept his toothpaste in the medicine cabinet and the Brial cream in a closet about a foot away. "Once, when I was 10, I switched the tubes. All you need to know about my father is that after he brushed his teeth with Brial cream he put the toothpaste in his hair." His grandfather, Max Katz, was a certified public accountant and amateur magician who introduced J to magic. Career. J first performed in public at the age of 4, in 1953, when he appeared on the television program Time for Pets. He is most likely the youngest magician to perform a full magic act on TV, the first magician to ever play comedy clubs, and probably the first magician to open for a rock and roll band. At New York's The Electric Circus in the 1960s, he performed on a bill between icon Tina Turner and Timothy Leary, who lectured about LSD. He quickly developed a cult following among magic aficionados, and a reputation for sleight-of-hand feats that baffle even his colleagues. In his 1993 New Yorker profile of J, Mark Singer related the following story from playwright David Mamet and theater director Gregory Mosher. Some years ago, late one night in the bar of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Chicago, J was performing magic with a deck of cards. Also present was a friend of Mamet and Mosher's named Christ Nogalish, the director of food and beverage at the hotel. After 20 minutes of disbelief-suspending manipulations, J spread the deck face up on the bar counter and asked Nogalish to concentrate on a specific card but not to reveal it. J then assembled the deck face down, shuffled, cut it into 2 piles, and asked Nogalish to point to one of the piles and name his card. 3 of clubs, Nogalish said, and he was then instructed to turn over the top card. He turned over the 3 of clubs. Mosher, in what could be interpreted as a passive-aggressive act, quietly announced, "Ricky, you know, I also concentrated on a card." After an interval of silence, J said, "That's interesting, Gregory. But I only do this for one person at a time." Mosher persisted. "Well, Ricky, I really was thinking of a card." J paused, frowned, stared at Mosher, and said, "This is a distinct change of procedure." A longer pause. "All right, what was the card?" 2 of spades." J nodded, and gestured toward the other pile, and Mosher turned over its top card. "The deuce of spades." A small riot ensued. 3 of J's one-man shows, Ricky J and his 52 assistants, Ricky J. on the stem, and Ricky J. a rogues gallery, were directed by Mamet, who has also cast him in a number of his films. J played Gupta, a henchman to villain Elliot Carver, in the James Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies, and also appeared in Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights and Magnolia, as well as Christopher Nolan's The Prestige. A collector and historian of note, he was a student and friend of Di Vernon, whom he called the greatest living contributor to the magical art. He is an avid collector of rare books and manuscripts, art, and other artifacts connected to the history of magic, gambling, unusual entertainments, and frauds and confidence games. He opposes any public revelations of the techniques of magic. J joined the cast of the HBO Western drama Deadwood as a recurrent character and writer for the first season in 2004. playing card sharp Eddie Sawyer. He wrote the episode, Jules' Boot is Made for Walking. He left the series at the end of the first season. Until recently, Jay was listed in the Guinness Book of Records for throwing a playing card 190 feet at 90 miles per hour by Rick Smith, Jr. He can throw a playing card into a watermelon rind from 10 paces. In addition, he is able to throw a card into the air like a boomerang and cut it cleanly in half with a pair of giant scissors upon its return. In his shows, he often attacks plastic animals with thrown cards. In self-defense, consultant as an expert on magic, gambling, con games and unusual entertainment, Jay has long been a go-to consultant on Hollywood projects, beginning with his work on Francis Ford Coppola's production of Caleb Deschanel's The Escape Artist. Other early work included teaching Robert Redford how to manipulate coins for the natural, and working with Douglas Trumbull on his groundbreaking show Scan Project, New Magic. In the early 1990s, Jay and Michael Weber created a firm, Deceptive Practices, providing arcane knowledge on a need-to-know basis to film, television and stage productions. By offering both vast historical expertise and creative invention, they have been able to provide surprisingly practical solutions to real production challenges. Among many accomplishments, they designed the wheelchair that magically hid Gary Sinis's legs in Forrest Gump, as well as the glass that drinks itself, used by the gorilla in Congo. For the Broadway production of Angels in America, Part 2, Perestroika, they designed an illusion, in which a man climbs to the top of a ladder of light and vanishes in midair. Other projects they have worked on include The Prestige, The Illusionist, Sneakers, Leap of Faith, Wolf, The Parent Trap, I Love Trouble, The Great Buck Howard, Heartbreakers, and Ocean's 13. Additionally, he has worked with libraries and museums on their collections, including the Mulholland Library of Conjuring and the Allied Arts and the Museum of Jurassic Technology in Culver City, California. Lectures and exhibitions. Jay has authored numerous articles and delivered many lecture demonstrations on such subjects as conjuring literature, con games, sense perception, and unusual entertainments. Among his presentations, Sleight and Shadow, at the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art, Belknap Visitor in the Humanities, lecture on the relationship between magicians and mediums, at Princeton University, Doing Likewise, Imitation, Emulation, and Mimesis, at the New York Institute of Humanities, hosted by Jonathan Miller, Hocus Pocus Imperfection, 400 Years of Conjuring and Conjuring Literature, the Harold Smith Memorial Lecture at Brown University, Splendors of Decaying Celluloid, with Errol Morris, Rosamund Purcell and Bill Morrison at the New York Institute for the Humanities. The Origins of the Confidence Game, at the Conference of Police Against Confidence Crime, Karosoffer, 16th and 17th century conjuring literature, at the Henry E. Huntington Library in San Moreno, California. Fast and Loose, The Techniques and Literature of Cheating, at the William Andrew Clark Memorial Library, UCLA. The Mystery of Fasting Imposters, and The Avant-Garde Art of Armless Calligraphers, at Amherst College. Sense, Perception, and Nonsense, at the University of Rhode Island Festival of the Arts. Illusionist Truth, at the International Design Conference in Aspen. Pros and Cons. The Early Literature of Cheating, at the New York Public Library and the Chicago Humanities Festival. Magic and Science, at the TED Conference in Monterey, California. Jay has also lectured at Harvard University, USC, the Grolier Club, the Hammer Museum, Getty Center, and Town Hall Theater in New York City. In 1999 he guest curated an exhibit at the Harvard Theater Collection entitled The Imagery of Illusion, 19th Century Magic and Deception. Exhibitions of material from his collections have been mounted at the Hammer Museum, the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, UC Davis, Christine Bergen Gallery, the Museum of Jurassic Technology, and UCLA's Clark Library. He has loaned material to the Getty Center, the Skirball Museum, the Huntington Library, and the Whitney Museum of Art. Film. Jay is the subject of the feature documentary Deceptive Practice: The Mysteries and Mentors of Ricky Jay. Credits: television: The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Saturday Night Live, The Ricky Jay Magic Show, BBC Special, The Paul Daniels Magic Show, Arsenio, Learned Pigs and Fireproof Women 1 hour special for American TV, The Secret Cabaret, Ricky Jay and his 52 assistants 1 hour version of his off-Broadway show, taped for HBO, Hustlers, Hoaxsters, Pranksters, Jokesters and Ricky Jay. Richard Avedon, Darkness and Light, PBS American Masters, The X-Files, The Amazing Malina, Mythbusters, Episode 20, Exploding Jawbreaker, Static Cannon, Deadly Playing Cards, Ricky demonstrated card throwing, and the speed of his throws was clocked. Deadwood, Eddie Sawyer, Season 1, Tales from the Crypt, The Unit, Kidnapped, Lie to Me, Flash Forward, Flosser, 60 Minutes, interviewed by Morley Safer for segment, Pigeon Fever. The Simpsons, plays himself in episode, The Great Simpsona. Teen Titans Go, plays voice in Robin's head in episode, The Date. Film House of Games, Things Change, Homicide, Leap of Faith, Cons and Frauds Consultant, The Ranger, The Cook and A Hole in the Sky, The Spanish Prisoner, Boogie Nights, Tomorrow Never Dies, Henry Gupta, Magnolia, Mystery Men, State and Maine, Heist, Heartbreakers, Incident at Loch Ness, Last Days, The Illusionist, The Prestige, Red Belt, The Great Buck Howard, The Brothers Bloom, Theatre, A Midsummer Night's Dream, produced by Joseph Papp for the New York Shakespeare Festival. Ricky Jay and his 52 assistants. Ricky Jay, On the Stem, Ricky Jay, A Rogues Gallery. He also performed on the 2005 BBC radio adaptation of David Mamet's Faustus books. Jay is the author of a number of books. Cards as Weapons, Image Graphiques, ISBN 0882010174, Learned Pigs and Fireproof Women, Villard, ISBN 03-94537505, Many Mysteries Unraveled, Conjuring Literature in America 1786–1874, Antiquarian Society, Assen, BOOFFJ 0402, The Magic Book, Whitney Museum Library Associates, Assen, BOO40NUJPO, Jay's Journal of Anomalies, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, ISBN 0374178674, Dice, Deception, Fate, and Rotten Luck, Quantuck Press, ISBN 0971454817, Extraordinary Exhibitions, Broadsides from the collection of Ricky Jay, Quantuck Press, ISBN 1593720122. Ricky Jay Plays Poker, Sony Legacy, Assen, BOOOHT2MB4, Magic, 1400s–1950s Taschen, ISBN 3836528007X. Celebrations of Curious Characters, McSweeney, ISBN 1936365030. Music. Ricky Jay has contributed to several projects in the music world, most notably the 2007 Sony release, Ricky Jay Plays Poker, a box set containing a CD of poker-related songs, a DVD featuring Ricky Jay discussing and performing notable feats of card table deception, and a box of Ricky Jay playing cards. He performed The Fiddler with Richard Green on Hal Wilner's sea shanty compilation Rogues Gallery, Pirate Ballads, Sea Songs, and Shanties, as well as The Shanty of Noah and His Ark on its follow-up Son of Rogues Gallery, Pirate Ballads, Sea Songs and Shanties. He appeared in the music video for Bob Dylan's Tweedledee and Tweedledum from the album Love and Theft. During the production of the video, a screwdriver reportedly fell from the rafters and lodged in Jay's hand. He also appeared in the video for the Jerry Garcia, David Grisman single, The Thrill Is Gone, which is available on the DVD of the Grateful Dog documentary.